Oh, I got some juicy news for you. Profit First app version 2.0 is here. With an enhanced user experience and video guidance throughout, you can now be even more confident in your Profit First implementation. Plus, listeners who work with a certified Profit First professional get extra benefits. Check it out now at www.profitfirstapp.com.
Today, right here, right now, this is the moment that you will finally say,
I'm growing my accounting practice, and you're going to discover exactly how right here, right now,
on the Grow My Accounting Practice podcast.
All right. Wow. Feels good to be back in the studio today, even though we're not even in the studio. We're remote and on YouTube again. So how are you guys, doing with this change of location and format?
I'm doing great. I think it's nice to be looking out the window at the freshly fallen snow. Got my baseball cap on because I had to do a call with Amsterdam, Netherlands, with Femke. Rush out, plow, get back, do another call with Femke, and then hop on here. So
Wow. I was wondering, why haven't you done my driveway yet?
I was going to get down there. I was going to get Femke's to blame.
You live up the road. You know I need it done by 10 so we can get out.
How are you doing, Liz, in the remote location?
I'm doing well. Yeah, all is well over here. This is, it's a little lonely here by myself in the studio, but I'll get through it. But it's good.
You have a comfortable fold-out chair.
It really is very cushy. It's a wonderful throne. I love it.
It's not even that cushy.
It's really not. It is.
It's plywood with some 2x4s.
Yeah, it's all right. I sit up front anyway. I'm barely sitting on it. So it's all fine.
Today we're going to be talking about Liz's favorite subject, the power of choosing a niche.
Yes, I'm so
You've
excited.
been driving this. You've wanted this guest on for so long, and we finally got him all the way from across the pond. Sandro Barbacini is founder of Vet in Business. They are a veterinary doctor turned business owners with expertise in leadership, team building, and sales. I suspect you can already identify the niche they specialize in. They are certified trainers of Blair Singer Training Academy, and they are Profit First Advanced Certified Professionals. They've helped over 1,000 professionals and companies grow their business by 10 to 40% in just 2 months. It's all about niche specialization. You're about to hear it right now. Sandro, welcome to our show.
Oh my.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. And thank you for inviting me. It's a great honor to be here and to be part of your Profit First family for a long time now. Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's a joy to reconnect with you. You're a veterinary doctor, which is there's a lot of education to become a veterinary doctor. Why would someone with your expertise move on to now serving people in a different way?
Yeah, what had happened is that, I took my degree in veterinary medicine many, many years ago, and then at some point I started my practice, and I was super technically trained, very good in doing my job. I was an expert in equine reproduction, horse reproduction. I've been trained all over the world, and so I started my business at some point. And, but 7 or 8 years after, I realized that I was a total ignorant when it came to running a business. And how I realized that, just because we were quite a big group, we were working a lot, having high quality clients, invested a lot of money, gross revenue was very high, and then when I made the balance at the end of the year, what it was left didn't make any sense with our effort, our investments, and the hours we worked. So I said, now there is something to change here, and I didn't know what. So I had a friend of mine that advised me to read some business book, but they needed to be completely foolproof, because I didn't know anything about that. I went to school to become a doctor, not to become an accountant, not to learn about economy or finance. but I needed to learn something, and that those very simple books got me curious and got me passionate about this. And then, then I started, attending courses and doing my experience, doing all my mistake, or doing a lot of mistakes in running my business. And then, I got in touch with Blair Singer, and I started studying with him. And at some point 10 years ago, I decided to change the trajectory of my life because veterinary medicine had already given to me all I wanted. Because I have had the privilege of really traveling all over the world as a lecturer at scientific meetings, and I've always taught everybody my job, so I needed something else. And I said, okay, now I'm going back to teach, because originally I was working at the university as a teacher. So I decided to go back to teach again, and to teach what and to who, to teach to my colleagues, not to do all the mistakes I made in my career that caused me a lot of problems. That's basically my story, and I actually still have a veterinary business in the horse industry, but I'm running that just like an entrepreneur. I'm not working anymore with my hands and with my intellectual property in the business. I have somebody else doing the work, and I'm just managing it as an entrepreneur.
Now, my Italian's not the best, but I think you'll understand this word. It sounds like after years as an equine specialist and high gross revenue, you still had nulla, right? And do you, just in case no one knows what that is, that means nothing. That's
Nothing.
the only word I know in Italian.
Very impressive.
You're very welcome. I just wanted to throw it out there. Do you find that I shouldn't say even, but businesses in Italy, that even as their revenue grows, many of them still struggling with profit?
Oh yeah, I mean it's the same all over the world. I mean
Yeah.
I have friends all over the world, and it's all over the same. I mean, school does not teach us how to manage money, does not teach us how to build teams and relationship and manage people, and does not teach us how to communicate in a proper way.
Yeah.
And these are the three most important skills that all of us have in life. They don't teach it to us. We're good technicians, we can be doctors or accountants or engineers, or I don't know, whatever degree you take, they give you a technical skills and technical knowledge, but they don't give you any skill in business. Why? Well, I've been one of them. I've been working at the university, so I
Right.
was an employee.
Yeah.
Right.
And how can an employee teach somebody to run a business? He's not running a business. And it's to do something, you need to have experience.
Right.
So,
Even in running a business, you need to do mistakes, and
Yep.
so Sandro,
mistakes makes you a more experienced guy.
right. And
If you correct them.
One of the things is our listeners are usually the owners of accounting, bookkeeping, and coaching firms. Many of them have customers that are veterinarians. How would they go about helping their customers identify a niche within the veterinarian business? Because I heard you say equine, and I'm like, okay, I know that's horses, but I never thought that a veterinarian could be niche. Like what kind of niching is available in that industry?
Okay.
Like
So
big cats, little dogs.
veterinary medicine is a niche, okay?
Yeah.
But it's we can call it a large niche because there are small animal practices, and the vast majority of the market is done by doctors that take care of pets, dogs and cats, right? Or exotic animals, okay? And then there are veterinarians that run cattle practices, large large animals. And then there are horse veterinarians, okay? They all have the same problems. All have the same problems. They run their profession in a little different way, because cattle practitioners and horse veterinarians, they spend the majority of the case, they spend a lot of hours driving their cars, going farm by farm. There are also very big horse clinics, but the difference with the small animals is they're like hospitals, basically, and within the niches, there are even smaller niches. So you can have a small animal veterinary doctor that is a specialist, is a cardiologist for animals, or is an ophthalmologist for animals, or is a surgeon for animals, or is an orthopedic for animals, right? I mean, it's like in human medicine, exactly the same.
Okay.
One of the questions that I have for you, Sandro, is we have talked about this for years now. One of the things that I found and I believe you did too, so successful because you're in a niche, you are able to find strategic partnerships who also have a vested interest in the success of veterinarians. And so can you share a little bit about the power of a strategic partnership in supporting your industry, supporting veterinarians, like someone you trusted, but then also how that because you're so niched into veterinarians, how that has helped your bottom line, top line, your audience, your audience growth, please.
Yeah, but before I want to go back a little bit to the question that Ron asked me, how can accountants, work with veterinarians, They have to understand what are their pains, what are their necessities, how they think, what are their wording. First, they have to understand them. Then they can help them.
Mm. When you say understand, sorry, Liz, when they say, I just want to piggyback on that. When you say understand what their desired future for their business is, or understand them as, a practitioner and what their strengths are?
No, understand where they think they are now with their business and with their private life. Because being a veterinarian, the difference between a veterinarian and many other professions is that being a veterinarian is, going to vet school is one of the last choices that is made by passion. Somebody that goes to vet school is because he is passionate with animals, right?
Yeah.
So when they start their own business, they still have a passion. They don't think about money, right? They want to have. They're great helper. They
Right,
don't want
build
to
a
know
rescue.
anything about numbers. So what I mean for they have to understand where they are. They have to understand where they are now, what their situation is, what are their pains, and where they would like to be. Then they can start a journey with them, but one step after the other, because in most of the cases they are not ready.
Mm.
And they're scared. They're scared because they say, I don't know anything. It's too difficult for me. I don't have time. I work already 18 hours a day. How can I also take care of this, right? So the most important thing is to make them understood that they have studied so hard. In Italy, to become a veterinarian, you have to take 52 exams,
My
5-2.
gosh.
Okay,
Wow.
5-2. Then, after you become a vet, you keep on studying because you have your continuing education, right? And they work very hard. And since because majority of the case they don't make a lot of money, they can't afford a technician, they can't afford a veterinarian. It's always the same story. They pay They pay everybody else. They paid everything. And then if something is left on the bank account, they pay themselves. It's always the same story all
Yep.
over the world.
We know that
It's
story.
crazy, right? All over the
did-
world.
How does someone, Sandro, pick a niche that they should serve? Do you have to have a background and experience doing it?
Okay. I mean, for us, it was easy. For Simona, that is my partner, and me, it was easy because we are veterinarians and we knew a lot of people. We have been in their shoes. So it was very easy, you know, but at some point when we started our business, our training and coaching business, obviously we didn't have many clients, right? So we were once in a while falling in a situation to have a temptation to speak to everybody, to the whole world, because we needed business, we needed money, you know, but I don't think you have to be specialized in something to find a niche, but you need to be passionate about something.
Hmm.
For example, I mean, if you are an accountant, if you have a passion about, for example, I don't know, cars or motorbikes, then maybe a niche could be working with people that have a business as a mechanic or electricians or stuff like that.
Right.
And then after you have chosen the niche, I think that the most important thing is to know them. So do as many interviews you can with people that are working in these niches to understand where they are, what are their what are their pains, what are their needs, what are their common mistakes, what are their dreams, and blah blah blah.
So yeah, so if I don't know anything about cars, well, I do know this. It better be I'm interested in Lamborghinis, Maseratis, anything that ends with an I, Ferrari. They're the best cars. We all know that. I was kidding.
Well,
Obviously, Sandro's
debatable.
approving that. They're the best cars. They're the best cars. But I say I know nothing about cars and I want to get into that space. It's an interest. Do I have to get technical and understand?
No,
Yeah, like, do I got to buy a horse?
Right.
no. I mean,
Or
you
Bugatti?
don't need to have any technical knowledge about that. You need to know
You don't need technical
the
knowledge.
niche. I mean, talking about who these people are, what do they need as person, as individuals. You don't need to know anything about how to fix an engine or whatever. For example, I've always been a horse veterinarian, even working specifically in the field of reproduction. So I don't know anything of small animal orthopedics. Technically, don't know anything about that.
Okay.
But I know how to help a veterinarian in creating the business of his dream, of her dream.
And what
I
are the
don't know if
skills
it makes sense.
what are the skills if I want, say I want to start a business serving veterinary doctors here in the United States? I know nothing about it. I'm interested to be an advisor, to be a profit first professional for them, to get into that niche. What are the things I do need to know if I don't need to know the technical?
Same answer that I gave before. I need to know how they think,
And how do I find that out?
talking to them, interviewing them, talking as to many veterinarians as you can of different levels, because you know there are, for example, veterinarians that have small practices, just one or two veterinarians. So speak to 5 or 6 of these, and then speak to 4 or 5 that are 3 or 4 people team, and then to 5 or 6 that have 20 or 30 people team.
And what should I be, when I speak to them, what should I ask? The problems they have, the needs?
Well, start
Where they're stuck?
with this. You know, when I do a sales Zoom call with a veterinarian that I don't know, first question that I ask is, tell me about you and about your practice.
Okay.
That's the question. And then I let them talking about them, blah, and blah, and blah, and blah, and blah. And I never interrupt them. And then I take notes. And then, you know, based on the answer, if I need to know more, if I need to go deeper, then I ask more questions because, you know, making you an example, you know, they start talking and they tell me we are 3 partners and then we have another 2 veterinarians working with us and they're talking and talking and talking. Then at the end, okay, so you told me that you have 3 veterinarians and 3 partners and 2 other veterinarians. Do you have any technician or office guy working with you? And they often answer, no, because we cannot afford them. Right? I mean, you make them talking about them because they have a big passion and they will answer automatically to a lot of questions.
It's almost like the struggles are roughly the same from business to business. It's just that the veterinarian have, you know, unique lingo that really helps the professional understand. So, you know, are there, you know, would you recommend it, you know, for an accountant to take some sort of veterinarian class, or is there how would they get involved? I mean, are there conferences? Are there trade magazines? How would they deepen their knowledge?
Yeah, there are a lot of resources on the internet, obviously. I mean, a lot of resources. And then, especially in the US, there are a lot of very small local associations. You know, like the Small Animal New Jersey Association for Veterinarians, something like that. You know, and then, you know, they also have booths and stuff like that, so they can go there and speak to people and interview people and introduce themselves. And
nice.
So I want to go back to my question.
Sorry about that, Liz. Okay.
I want to go back to my question because it is the piece that I love talking to you most about is your sales cycle, because it's very regimented and it's very successful. And he's already booked the vast majority of his revenue in February. It's already almost done.
Oh, so you're taking the rest of the year off. Where are we going?
And then the strategic partnerships. So if you could talk a little bit about either one, either strategic partnership or the sales cycle, those are so impressive and so much worth, you know, our audience hearing this.
Okay. So over the years, we have systemized our selling cycle. And, you know, what we started with one single product that is a 3 days event that we call Vet in Business. And for 2 years, we just worked on selling that 2 years in a row, 2 years in a row, 2 years in a row, because we were invisible as business and trainer coaches. So we need to let people discovering us in another identity, because they knew us as veterinary doctors. Okay. So now what we do 3 of these courses every year. One end of February, one mid-June, and one at the end of November. Okay. We have developed, as Liz calls it, we have developed a strategic partnership with a company. Originally, it's a French company. The one in Italy, is the Italian branch of the French company that was founded by veterinarians 50 years ago. And it's a company that sells equipment, disposables, and drugs for veterinarians. Okay. In Italy, they have more or less 7,500 veterinary practices as clients.
Wow.
We knew each other for many years because we were already connected when Simone and me were veterinary doctors, okay? And when they knew we had this project, we had a couple of chats and we started collaborating with us. So what we basically do a couple of months before of each of these courses, we run a webinar for them. Then they start a mailing campaign to their mailing list, just announcing that this course will be given. Okay, and the vets that is interested, just click on a link and they leave us their contacts. Okay.
They do most of the work for Sandro, which is why I love this story.
Sounds that way, yeah.
I know, it's amazing.
Yeah. So we also, in the meanwhile, we also have a mailing list, and we send out a few mails, and we do some organic Facebook ads. I mean, we almost spend nothing in marketing. Okay.
Nice.
And so when we get the contacts already knows that he or she is going to have a phone call from us for booking a Zoom call where we can know each other. So we call them, we book a Zoom call with them, and we do it on purpose because we want them to know us and to see if their thinking is aligned with us. So we are not going to have people that we don't want on our courses. And also it gives them the opportunity to know us and to have a taste of what they will learn at the course. It is very practical, okay? And then we sell them into the course.
Yep.
Then they come to the course, and we know that actually I have a lot of numbers. So of the people that come on this call, we close 55-60% of them into the course.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. I know. That's why I wanted to get to the good stuff.
Okay. And we usually keep small groups of people, it's no more than 30 people in the course because it's very practical. We do a lot of facilitation. We do a lot of practical stuff like teaching them how to build a price for a service. And we have them doing a lot of exercises and asking us questions so they know how to use the tool by themselves when they go home. Then, the second day of the course, we also offer them, for who is interested, to start the 6 months coaching program with us after the course. And to the people that are interested, then we bring them back again in a Zoom call where we explain them what we will do during the 6 months coaching. And we usually close 35% of the people that come to the Zoom call.
Nice. I love it. So it's multiple steps, multiple contacts, foot in the door, and then nurture. So,
yeah, it's a lot of contact,
Yeah.
And so we repeat this 3 times a year. And at the end of the sixth month of coaching, we sell them, if they want, in a 12-month mastermind program. All right, so we have continually cash coming in, and we can predict how much is coming. And as Liz said, for example, end of November, we do a vet in business course. So we sell people into the 6 months coaching. But also at the same time, we sell into the mastermind coaching all of the people that finished the previous 6 months and the people that finished the first 12 months of mastermind they made. All right? So
it's almost like a train, right? It's like a train of prospects buying your stuff.
Then
And
just,
more-
just
longer
step
rides,
in.
too.
We're getting really tight on time, so we got to shut down. If you could just wrap that thought, Sandro.
It goes so
Well,
fast.
That's it.
You're good. You're fini.
So
My
it's
second
very-
word in Italian. Fini.
It's very scientific, you know. I mean, obviously we built the big picture at the beginning, and then we cut it down in chunks. We made corrections, but now we perfectly know how much money is going to come in, and when it's going to come, how it's going to come, and blah blah blah.
Okay.
So good.
Sandro,
Yeah.
thank
Nice.
you for this discussion around niching. Before we let you go, if our listeners have more questions or want to contact you, or maybe we have a veterinary doctor or other veterinary practitioner that needs your help, how can they contact you?
But just okay, my email is sandro.barbacini. So Sandro is Sandro dot Barbacini. That is yeah, you can read my name
Yep.
over there.
Yeah, and we're going to
okay?
put in our show notes too.
Yeah, at
So-
vetinbusiness.com.
Vetinbusiness.com.
You contact me by
Okay.
email, and I will be very happy of helping
Yes.
helping
He is a
anybody
very,
that has a question for me. Yeah.
he's very much of service. He's helped several of our other members here too,
And
which
yeah,
is so
and
great.
get traction too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sandro,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
You're
you,
very
Sandro.
welcome.
Right.
All
You're
right. I
very welcome. And
appreciate
you know
you.
what?
Yeah.
You know what?
What?
I'm sorry that we don't have much more time. Otherwise, we can
Oh,
really
I know.
speak for hours, and I could be of much more help.
I would
because-
love
Sorry.
for you to help me with my Italian too, because you didn't seem
Yeah.
impressed.
I know.
And-
Lucky
and-
for me, I get to meet with him later this week anyway. So
Yeah,
I get
and
to continue
anytime
on.
you need any help from me, just let me know. Okay.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Sandro.
Thank you, friend. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
We're
Bye.
going to
Bye.
continue on the
Bye-bye.
show here. We got to recap what we learned. Ron's got a insider access. I got a GMAP now task. But first, are we doing
Yeah.
the trippy question? And we're
Yeah,
leaving
we
clip-
are. And let's see. So I was messing with the sound. Let's see if we can hear it. Oh gosh, I just threw it out.
Well, there you go.
Oh, so you do have access to the soundboard and everything.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. That's why I showed up.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah.
In studio.
I'm smart. Yeah.
So trip
I
us
do
out
have a
and then
trippy
we'll-
question.
Yeah. What do you got?
So the trivia question is very much in line with our wonderful guest today. Which language would you like to speak fluently?
Spanish.
Same.
Ron.
Dutch.
Dutch.
Nice.
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 Why Spanish, Mike?
Because it's America's language. There's two languages in our country. We don't have an official language. It's English and Spanish.
Yeah.
And a lot of our nation speaks that language. It's important for me to be part of the nation. So
Me too. That's my reason. Why Dutch, Mr. Saharian?
Cool. It's unique. It's different.
Excellent.
plus there's a Dutch bakery and he just wants to order in the native language right down the street from us.
Excellent. Okay.
All right, let's recap what we learned here. Liz, why don't you take the baton?
So I invited Sandro here today because I have watched him hone, and he said it right at the end. He said it's very scientific what he does, and he is so thoughtful and scientific about the approach to selling. And it is something that I find to be super inspiring. And I actually talk about him and his process quite a bit to other members because, as he said, he had one product and it was the vet and business. And it was this one thing. And he was honing and honing and honing and, you know, meeting people and asking questions and honing and honing. And then he found this, you know, nurture the relationship with his vendor partner. And that grew into something that is so thoughtful and so regimented, yet it's still, like, we talk about this a lot, he'll still tweak little areas to increase his numbers. So it's very scientific about his close rate, his hit rates, his calls, his timing. It's meticulous in a way that has been so successful for him and created a life that allows him to do what he wants to do outside of here too. So it's fun to hear him talk about it.
Ron, what were your takeaways?
Yeah, starts off with, understanding your customers, but it's a little bit deeper than that. It's understanding their current situation, their current issues, but also their future needs, future situations. And it's our job, or the accountant's, bookkeeper's, coach's job, to kind of paint that picture, but show them a pathway how they can achieve what they're looking for. But it all starts with really deep understanding of their current situation and what their desired futures are going to be.
Nice.
Mm.
Yes,
I-
Sandro, you go ahead.
Oh,
Come on,
hold
off
on.
mute.
I have to bring it back in. Hold on. You can't see him. There we go.
Right.
He's back.
Yeah, you know, Ron, because when they have economical problems, they live in scarcity, and they think of the next day, the next week, the next month, but they don't think of in 5 or 10 years where they're gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
So just stimulating them in asking them where you want to be in 5 years, in 10 years, is helping them to define their future.
Yeah,
Then you can help them.
absolutely.
Love it.
My
Excellent.
my takeaways. First of all, my Italian did not impress Sandro.
No.
I didn't
like,
impress
"Nulla,
Liz or I either."
nulla." He's
You
like,
really impressed me.
I did impress you with nulla. You know what was shocking but not surprising was the schools in Italy don't teach the basics either, including money management.
Mhm.
That's how Sandro opened. I like his question. Tell me about your practice, and just allow people to talk. They say the greatest salespeople shut their mouths, and that's what he said. He says, "Tell me about my practice or your practice," and then doesn't say a word and just takes notes and takes notes. The last thing, the strategy is great. He said he has
Tell me about you and your
Yeah.
practice.
You.
Tell
the
me about you.
personal
Thank
too.
you, sir.
Mhm.
I wasn't listening. See, I was just talking. I failed the test. The last thing he shared was they have a strategic partner with 7,500 veterinary clients. That shows the power. And Liz, I'm so happy you brought that question, that the power is in the partnerships when you niche specialize. All right, we want to know what you, our listeners, heard, what tips you took away. We'd love to see that in the show notes. The review of our show when you rate and review our show. Ron, you got that crazy weapon, but you're at home. Oh, you got a small version of
Oh.
it. There it is. He's waving his lightsaber. What do you got for us?
Oh.
All right, guys.
Sorry.
One of the things that I've learned over the years, that it's important to have pets in our lives. I never realized that until I started working with Mike at his house. And he had an open door policy for dogs. Bring your dog to work, bring your dog to the basement, bring your dogs to everything. And what I've learned is that it really puts a smile on people's faces, right? And I wasn't a dog guy, but when Daisy used to come on down and used to sit on my feet, yeah, I was afraid in the beginning, but after a little while, it really does have a soothing, calming effect. And a lot of these animals are children of these people. So have an open animal policy. Bring them in. But one of the things, make sure you clean up after your pet. That's all.
That reminds me when Bob Barker used to make sure you spade and neuter your dogs and he'd sign off.
Do that too, everybody.
That was so impressive, Ron, because I know you had some bad childhood experiences with dogs, and how you embraced our pooch. And
the Great
you
Pyrenees
became the
still scared
favorite.
the
Like
crap
every
out
time Ron would come in, Daisy would bolt for Ron, running past everybody else. All right.
Well, I had bacon in my pocket.
Here's the GMAP Now task. We got to wrap up here. The GMAP Now task, the one task, if you do, you'll see results. There is one KPI, which is the greatest KPI for all businesses. You've heard of cash flow ratios. You've heard of sales metrics. You've heard of inventory turn. There's one metric that identifies the health of an organization, the growth of an organization, the sustainability of an organization, the impact the organization's having on others, and the demand for that organization, and simply your profit. Measure your profit all the time. All right, let's get out of
Nice.
here.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much, Sandro. Thank you, listeners. Don't forget to review and subscribe to Grow My Accounting Practice podcast. There's also another step that I think we want you to take, and that is to go to our website and apply to be a Profit First Professional, www.profitfirstprofessionals.com. Apply now, and also you'll have a conversation with me, with Liz, and we'll see if there's a nice fit there.
I love that you threw a www. Haven't heard that in a while. That was awesome.
I always do that too. I love that you did it. It's
I
good.
love it.
All right.
I love it.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone.